We're watching Commando, the OG Taken and one of the best cheesy 80s action flicks known to man. We begin with a murder montage. The victims were members of a unit led by Colonel John Matrix. He left the military for a peaceful life and is preoccupied with raising his daughter, Jenny. The family breakfast gets interrupted by his former boss, General Kirby, who warns him that the mysterious goons are coming for him next. He leaves 2 of his soldiers to protect the Californian ex-governor.
Are they any good? Real good.
They die immediately after Kirby takes off. Matrix tells his daughter to hide as he goes to retrieve his rifle from a shed. But it's too late. By the time he gets to Jenny's bedroom, she's already gone. Instead, he finds one of the assailants who lays out the terms of Jenny's release.
And if you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right?
Wrong.
He gets to his car, the battery ripped out. But that doesn't stop Matrix. He pushes the car downhill and goes off-road to catch the kidnappers. Now, 2 mistakes. Why the fuck is his taillight on when there's no battery in the car? And there is 0 consistency and continuity in this chase scene. They reuse this shot of him driving towards the camera twice. He misses the kidnappers, drives down, and then is magically back up again. And when he drives down, you can clearly see he's in the forest. And then poof, all the trees are gone. Let's move on. He crashes the car, which immediately goes up in flames and explodes. He puts up a fight against some goons, but ultimately gets incapacitated. Here we get a first look at one of the antagonists, Bennett, who has a personal vendetta against Matrix after he kicked him out of his unit. Not gonna lie, you can probably look this man up on the National Sex Offender Registry, name, address and all. Also, what the fuck is he wearing? Is that supposed to be a chainmail vest? Buddy, you know that thing is not gonna protect you from gunfire, right? It's not gonna protect you from blades either, because that shit is knitted. You forgot the chain in chainmail. Bennett then shoots Matrix with a tranquilizer. Our protagonist wakes up chained to a table at an unspecified location. Let's meet the rest of the evil ensemble. Arias, a former dictator of Valverde, overthrown by Matrix and his goons. Enriquez, Sully, and Cook. Arias wants the former colonel to assassinate the current Valverde president to restore his position. He promises to release Jenny after it's done. They take Matrix to the airport to fly him out to Valverde. He plays along until he's left one-on-one with Enriquez on the plane, and then discreetly takes him out.
Your flight attendants are Susan and Lamb, and I'm Vic. We're gonna make it as comfortable as possible.
Excuse me, how long is the flight?
We land in Valverde in exactly 11 hours.
Thank you. And do me a favor. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
Jesus, these one-liners. Matrix navigates through the plane and reaches the landing gear, the plane already on the runway. He waits until takeoff, jumps off and lands in the marshes next to the runway, somehow unscathed. And the water is only knee-deep. What? A race against time begins. Matrix has 11 hours to rescue his daughter because the plane reaches Valverde and everyone finds out he wasn't on it. He goes back to the airfield and starts following Sully, who tries to hit on a flight attendant. The Rizzler gets rejected, so he does what everyone should do after hearing the word no. Stalk her to an isolated parking lot. He gets rejected again and we see the nice guy awaken.
Would you please leave me alone?
You fucking whore.
Matrix sneaks up behind the flight attendant, Cindy, and tells her to get into the car. He casually rips out the front seat and orders the woman to follow Sully's yellow Porsche. They arrive at a mall and follow Sully to a bar where he's buying fake passports. Arnold tells Cindy his daughter was kidnapped and she's his only hope because he can't get spotted, and sends her into the bar to spy on Sully. Now, imagine this from Cindy's perspective. What do you do when a 6-foot-tall walking amalgamation of muscle, bone and testosterone kidnaps you, rips the seats out of your car, has you follow some slimy creep, and then asks you for help because someone apparently kidnapped his daughter? You try to get help, of course, which is the only sensible thing Cindy does in this movie. Matrix gets into a slugfest with a bunch of mall cops, which attracts Sully's attention. He spots the peculiar Austrian bodybuilder. He spots a peculiar Austrian bodybuilder and rushes to a payphone to warn his associates. Once Arnie sees this, he rips the booth out of the floor, picks it up and throws it over his shoulders. A chase scene commences. Sully runs back to his car and the mountain follows. Cindy stops him in the middle of the road and gets back into the car with him.
Steal my car! You rip the seat out! You kidnap me! You ask me how you find your daughter, which I very kindly do! And then you get me involved in the shit out of people I died, and bust burning all over life, and then I watch you rip the phone booth out of the wall, wait for the stealing my car down, and then there's a cop that's gonna shoot you, and I saved you, and you start chasing me! Are you gonna tell me what's going on, or what?
The car chase scene ends with Sully's Porsche flipped on its side and Matrix crashing into a pole, completely unbothered by the rapid and violent deceleration of his 1963 Sunbeam Alpine. He pulls Sully out of the car and questions him while holding him over a cliff by a leg with one hand. Our protagonist learns that Sully was supposed to meet Cook at a certain Sunspot motel and delivers my favorite joke in the movie.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Matrix. You did.
I lied.
The sound of Sully's scream cuts out, but we never hear him hit the ground. I can only assume, having died of dehydration years before, his lifeless body is still falling almost 40 years after Commando's release. Now working together, the duo arrive at the motel. While going through Cook's apartment, they hear a knock on the door. The Schwartz uses Cindy as a decoy to get behind Cook. He throws the first punch and they start brawling. Matrix knows his shit and uses iframes during dodge rolls to avoid getting shot. They break through a wall into a filming set of a certain kind.
Fuck you, asshole.
Fuck you, asshole.
The fight ends when Arnie's uppercut sends Cook flying and he gets impaled on broken furniture. In his car, they find an invoice that points them to a fuel depot near the coast. They jump into Matrix's fourth car this movie and soon arrive at their destination. Arnie breaks a lock with his bare hands and climbs into the warehouse. Inside, he finds a small army of goons loading up military equipment for transportation to Valverde. He sneaks past the guards into an office and lets Cindy inside through the window. A quick search reveals a set of coordinates pointing at a nearby island. Matrix expertly deduces that this must be where they've taken his daughter. They also figure out the location of an amphibian airplane, which would be a perfect way to get to that island. They sneak out and head for the plane, but there's one more stop they need to make. The quick detour takes them to a military surplus store. Matrix uses an excavator. Jesus fuck. Matrix uses an excavator he pulled out of his ass to break through the display. The duo takes all the equipment they can carry. They reach the armory and holy fuck, are we in heaven? This place is stocked up. Shotguns, rifles, machine guns, grenades, rocket launchers. Why is there a World War II German Panzerschreck on the wall? Matrix also finds claymore mines and grabs a quad-tube rocket launcher off the wall. Cindy leaves with the equipment and Matrix gets caught by the police. They place him in an armored truck which Cindy follows, and when an opportunity presents itself, she pulls out the rocket launcher and aims it at the truck. Dumbass. Also, there are no rockets inside the tubes. The next shot connects and flips the truck. Matrix, once again completely unfazed, climbs out of the truck and hops into Cindy's car. They arrive at the dock where the plane is parked. The giant flesh beast gives one of the guards a frontal lobotomy and walks to the plane. Cindy tries to get it started, but they get spotted. Arnold exchanges fire with some goons as Cindy struggles to get the engines running. Matrix comes to the rescue and gets the machine to comply using violence. They take off and fly towards the island. We cut to Arias' mansion on the island. Jenny has been locked in one of the rooms. She takes the handle out of the doors and starts to loosen up the boards in one of the barricaded windows. Meanwhile, Bennett speaks with Arias. He takes the piss out of Arias' soldiers and reminds him that
now the only thing between Matrix and you is me.
Matrix arrives at the island. In the close-up of him using binoculars, you can see that the shotgun on his back is a rubber replica. You can see the seam running through the magazine tube and barrel. Cindy stayed on the plane to try to use the radio to reach General Kirby. Around the same time, the plane he was supposed to be on lands in Valverde. Some goons find the body of Enriquez and rush to a phone booth to inform Arias that Matrix wasn't on the plane. By the time that information reaches Arias, the Muscle Man has already infiltrated the base and begun planting charges. Arias orders Bennett to kill Jenny. When he reaches her room, he finds that she managed to remove one of the planks from the window and spots her running away. He charges through the window and gives chase. We cut to Matrix planting even more charges and stealthily eliminating guards. His methods include, but are not limited to, stabbing, slicing, knife throwing, and knife shooting. He gets spotted and has to use some more serious firepower. He runs away and detonates the charges he planted. They completely evaporate the buildings behind him. They explode from the inside, even though he planted the mines outside the buildings. You can see the mannequins near the buildings don't even budge in the explosions. Matrix rushes towards the mansion and aims the rocket launcher at the gate. A jeep approaches from behind, so he quickly turns around, blows it up, and then shoots at the gate. Both rockets are somehow fired from the same same tube. We then get a long sequence of Arnold Schwarzenegger taking out an army of goons with unlimited ammo, no recoil, and perfect hipfire accuracy. He must have been using a cyberpunk smart gun here, cause these bullets be curving like crazy. Every time he throws a grenade, you can clearly see the spring traps launching the soldiers a mile high into the sky. This is what Euphoria ragdolls feel like in Red Dead Redemption. A grenade explodes right under Arnie's feet, but he doesn't care. He hides in a small shed to take off all the broken equipment and show off these pecs. Ooh, baby! Valverde soldiers surround the shed and unleash a hail of bullets from all sides. One of them looks inside and gets pitchforked like Geralt of Rivia by Matrix, who has suspended himself below the ceiling. He throws a saw blade and scalps one of the soldiers and uses a machete to chop off the arm of another. He picks up an M60 machine gun and continues his rampage. Meanwhile, Bennett is stalking the basement tunnel, still trying to find Jenny, non-stop fondling his knife. This guy. Matrix makes his way inside the mansion and checks the rooms one by one to find his daughter. He gets into a firefight with Arius, which looks like someone took it straight from Naked Gun 2.5. He eventually gets the drop on him and peppers him full of buckshot. Matrix somehow hears his daughter's voice coming from the basement. He rushes down only to find that Bennett is holding her hostage. Arnold gets shot in the shoulder and hides behind a corner. He plays on Bennett's ego to try to get him to fight hand to hand. And Bennett for some reason agrees. I'm sorry, but have you seen yourself? No way your dad bod out of shape ass can withstand a singular punch from the sack of muscle in front of you.
I don't need no gun! I'm gonna kill you now!
Bennett rushes to throw the first punch. He connects and cuts Matrix in the abdomen. They crash through a door and fall into some kind of maintenance corridor. Matrix is sick of his bullshit and decides to end it right then and there. We get this masterful exchange.
John, I'm not gonna shoot you between the eyes! I'm gonna shoot you between the balls!
Let off some steam, Bennett.
General Kirby arrives on the island with the US Army and they see Matrix walking down the beach with his daughter. Kirby tries to convince the Terminator to restore his former unit, but Arnie won't budge. He walks back to the seaplane and rejoins Cindy. For some reason, Jenny and Cindy immediately hug, even though Jenny has never seen this woman in her life. They get into the plane and take off. Roll credits. This is definitely one of the movies ever made. 3 Schwarzeneggers out of 1 Vernon Wells.